Hey everybody, thank you for joining me today in the den here at Friendship Shaving for another Monday shave. And I'm going to be shaving with another PAA soap today. I have a sample of a Rabid Banana from Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements, and I'm going to be using the Solar Flare brush, which you can see lathered up on the window ledge there. I only have two brushes from PAA, but when I use one of their soaps, I like to use one of their brushes. The razor I'm going to be using today is a razor purchased from Razor Emporium, and it has been revamped and replated by them. It isn't quite perfect, unfortunately. There is brassing, which in this light will be very difficult for you to see, but in normal light it is really obvious. It is just on that corner of the door and it extends to about halfway along. It's just spoils the razor a little bit, but we'll talk about that more as we go along. I'm going to be using another razor blade today sent to me by Graham. Thank you, Graham. These are sharp razor blades. It says Swiss quality titanium. There we are, there is the packet. And these come from durablade.biz, which I've not heard of before. Be interested to use these. And I've got one here, so we'll open that up. Excuse me. Just got a tickly throat today. There we are. We'll open up the blade. That's what it looks like. And we will pop that into the Fatboy, and I'm going to set this, it's already set on setting 6, so we'll just make sure that is nice and tight and we're all good to go with the razor. So I hope you've had a good day or are about to have a good day. I thought this brush was quite up to date because of the colour. It's sort of vaguely banana-ish, isn't it? Let me just knock a bit of soap off that brush. I always do that just so it looks good on camera. Now this sample of soap from PAA is their standard soap base, and so it's not their CK6, but nevertheless it is an excellent soap base. Really, really good, and this Rabid Banana smells exactly like you would expect. I have used this one before. It smells like a very sweet banana. In fact, it smells like a sweet I used to have as a child, and it really reminds me of that. This soap does actually contain banana oil, which is apparently very good for dry skin. So I know that their CK6 soaps are very good for my skin. They're very moisturising, but this is for me as well, and I think it's probably down to that banana oil. And just going back to the soap I used the other week that disagreed with me. You know, I've never had a soap or any product from PAA that has ever disagreed with me in any way, and I think that's really rather good, and it was dug from PAA that once told me there are thousands of chemical compounds in fragrance oils. So the more oils you put in a soap, or the cheaper the fragrance oil, can sort of trigger a reaction. Of course, some of you out there seem to be immune to soap reactions, but unfortunately I do get them once in a little while. But as I say, I've never had any problem with a PAA soap. I think they're fantastic. Now we're going to start on setting 6, and this is just a bright nickel replate, and it's very nicely done apart from that one door. Other than that, to me it looks great. But I have lost a little bit of confidence in Razor Emporium, and I will tell you about that in a moment. Let's just get started with this razor blade. Not bad is my first impression of the razor blade. It's the first time I've used one of these, and certainly not bad. It could be one of these razor blades that improves on the second pass. I've found recently, and it stands to reason, and already this is improving now, that if I dip my razor or wash my razor more frequently, whichever razor blade I'm using seems to work better. I mean, that makes sense, doesn't it? Because we are wet shaving. Yeah, this is quite a nice razor blade now. I'm liking this. Seems to work quite well in here. It's not super sharp, but it's very nice. Now I was going to talk about Razor Emporium, and I'm going to do that now. I've bought a couple of razors from Razor Emporium, and my experience of them has always been very good. I bought my Canadian Goodwill from them. I found it to be very reasonably priced, certainly compared to what was available on eBay. And the satin finish I had on that razor was good. And of course, many of you will know that I have a gold toggle that was revamped and replated by Razor Emporium, and they did a good job on that as well. And to be fair, my toggle looks absolutely excellent. I noticed recently in there, because I get a newsletter from them via email, you can order your razor from Razor Emporium. So if there is a particular, just wait for the phone to stop ringing. If there is a particular year or quarter that you would like to buy, you can book it at Razor Emporium. And my friend Sven and I did this. We were looking for 2 razors. Hopefully with the same year and quarter. And we either wanted an early one or a later one, but we wanted 2 that were essentially the same. And we were told that there were a couple of razors D4, so the 4th quarter of 1958. We're very pleased with that. But unfortunately, when the razors come through, we didn't get 2 D4 razors. We got an E and a G, so there may have been a little bit of miscommunication there. Who knows? But my friend Sven had an issue with his razor. Both razors went to Sven, and then Sven sent mine to me, just to make the process easier. But yes, as I said, unfortunately Sven had a little issue with his, which I won't go into detail too much, but in the end they offered Sven a replacement door for his razor. Now that's okay, isn't it, if you are able to take apart a Fatboy and fit a door yourself, but if you're not, that's about as much use as a chocolate fire guard, to be honest. And you know, I thought that was a little bit disappointing, and in general, because I've read all of the emails, I thought the customer service, the after service from Razor Emporium was very poor. And that has made me doubt Razor Emporium, which has never happened before, and I've not done anything about this razor. The reason being because I think I'll be wasting my time. It's been some 3 months now. That issue that Sven had, sadly, has still not been resolved. It's still ongoing. He still hasn't had his door. And I just kind of think that, well, first of all, it complicates things because my razor came to me via a third party, i.e. my friend Sven. But that aside, I can just imagine them saying, oh, you've polished it too much, when in fact I haven't polished it at all. And the reason I'm most disappointed, I'll just dry my hands a moment, is because you get a warranty card. Warranty in a razor for 6 months, and the final product is inspected by Matt. And when you look at it in normal daylight, it's so obvious that there's brassing on this razor. I don't think he could have missed it. So therefore, the logical conclusion is that he looked at that and thought, oh, there's some brassing on there, we'll stick it in the bag and send it off anyway. Now obviously I don't know if that's true, but that's what I think. And that and Sven's experience has just made me lose a bit of confidence in them. I think it's a real shame. A real shame. So there we are. I've got a razor that has been revamped and replated. It shaves beautiful. It's got a little bit of brassing on that door, which I suspect was either where the razor wasn't quite replated properly on the door there, or it was just polished a little too much on the finishing buff. So there we are. That is my my E1 bright nickel plated razor. It looks beautiful. It shaves beautiful. It's just that little touch is not quite right. And when you're paying a lot of money, you want it to be right, don't you? So there we are. Now enough on that. Do you know what? Setting 6 is quite nice on this blade now. This is a nice blade. I feel I could go up to setting 7. Because I am feeling, mind you, the soap is very slick. And certainly dipping your razor in your water really adds to the slickness of the soap. I think this is a great soap, this Rabid Banana. It is quite strong smelling initially. So I'm going to leave the razor on setting 6 for the final pass. We'll leave it where it is. I've been asked, you know, about the lather that I create. You know, especially when I have my brush up here looking, you know, rather majestic. I really don't do anything too complicated when I'm building a lather in a bowl. I have done a 10-minute tip on how I lather. I'll have a quick review of that, and if I think it's okay, I'll put the link in the description to this razor. But basically, all I've done today, same as any other day, with a synthetic knot, is that I take my measure of soap and I spread it around my bowl just with my finger. Then I take my synthetic, dip the brush in the water, pull it out, squeeze it and shake it twice so that the brush is damp but there is absolutely no water dripping from it. And then I start to work soap in the bowl. And I just go around one way and around the other, just trying to take the soap off the edges of the bowl. And as soon as that soap thickens a little bit, I dip the tips of my brush in water and go back to the bowl. And I keep doing that until I gradually build up a little bit of soap that is thick. I've taken most of the soap from the sides of the bowl, and I keep dipping the tips, and then I start going backwards and forwards in the bowl, as well as clockwise and anti-clockwise, but that backwards and forwards movement with a little bit of splay on the brush, I never go too much, really seems to start to build a lather. And basically that's what I do, keep adding a drop of water. Always put it on the end of the brush now, just the tips. And I'll just show you with what I've got here. There we are, and I'll just give it a little like that, so there's water on the end of the brush, but it's not dripping off the brush. And I'll just take that to the bowl. And I think the biggest thing I do is making sure that I work it enough. So there we are, for Prentice, who was asking. I hope that will help you, sir, if you see this video. And for anyone else, I just hope that helps a little bit. It seems easy now to me. But I know when I first started shaving, I bowl lathered, and then I went on to face lathering. And when I came back to lathering in a bowl, it was quite difficult. I just couldn't get it for a few goes. So I can understand how somebody might be finding it a challenge, you know. We've all been there, haven't we? You know, all of us. So Prentice, thanks for asking. Thank you very much. So I'll try and put that link below. I mean, the way I lather in the bowl has, I suppose, changed a little bit over the last few years. It's become... I've got more of a routine now that I stick to, and I stick to that routine every time I do it, and I think that helps. So no matter what the soap is, I'm just adding a drop of water a little bit at a time. I'm loving this shave today. The bathroom just smells of a banana sweet, or a candy, I think you call them in America, banana candy. Really nice. I don't know if you can hear my mum on the phone. I can hear her. There we go, that is the shave. Third pass. We'll just give the razor a little bit of a rinse. I'll take the blade out actually and just wipe that door and hold it up. Maybe you'll be able to see. I know as soon as there's any light bouncing around from the light, the camera doesn't pick it up, but by eye, it's that end there. No, I don't think it's going to. The camera's not going to pick it up, is it? Anyway, there we go. That's the thing with a camera, it's never as good as your eyesight. Well, I say that, I've got glasses on. But there we are, a nice razor. It shaves beautifully from the first quarter of 1959. And if I could be reborn anywhere in the world at any time, think I may have to be reborn in 1950s America when, you know, rock and roll was just coming out. And that probably was really exciting at the time, but you had all those wonderful old cars that the kids were turning into hot rods and all this wonderful shaving gear, the old brushes, and of course into the late 50s with the Fatboy coming out, and yeah, I think that would be great. And if I could be reborn and have a little bit of money, I think I'd buy as many old razors as I could. Wonderful, what a dream. Now my soap today, Rabid Banana, another great sample from John Chalmers, John Shaves 101. I'll pop the link to John's channel below. But a Rabid Banana goes really well with my Abata Ilamantia Don Jose, which is of course banana and coconut. So we're going to use a drop of this today. It's got a really nice small, what are they called? Splashes, a hole basically. It doesn't come out too fast, you just get a nice amount. Oh my god, it's good stuff that, guys, it's good stuff. Oh, I smell fantastic. There we are, so that is my shave. Thank you very much for being a part of it today. Take care now, look after yourselves, and I'll see you very soon. All the best. Bye bye.